She screamed for help as two men in fake uniforms stormed onto our porch. One of them flashed a badge that didn't even shine right under the sunlight. "We're with the HOA Enforcement Division," he barked, grabbing my wife by the arm. I stepped forward, heart pounding, but calm. Too calm for what they expected. The taller one shoved me back. "Stay out of this, sir. Your wife violated HOA security codes." HOA? We didn't even live in an HOA. Our land sat half a mile outside their jurisdiction. I'd checked it 3 times before buying. But before I could speak, one of them twisted my wife's wrist and yanked her toward the steps. She didn't fight. She just looked at me, eyes steady, like she'd seen worse. And then, softly, she said, "Code red." That's when everything shifted. The 2 fake officers froze for half a second, confused, and then looked around as if they suddenly felt watched. My phone buzzed, a silent alert from an encrypted app I'd never dared open before. Her past life, the one she never talked about, was now standing right in front of us. I stared at her, whispering, "Are they real?" She shook her head slowly. "No, but the people coming for them are." In the distance, a black SUV appeared at the end of the dirt road, its headlights cutting through the afternoon sun. The fake cops loosened their grip, pretending to act normal, but I could see the panic spreading across their faces. My wife took a deep breath, straightened her arm, and said in a tone I'd never heard before, "You picked the wrong house." The SUV rolled closer, smooth and silent, and that's when one of the men muttered, "Oh no, she's not just a civilian." They didn't know yet, but they were about to. The SUV stopped just a few feet from the porch, and the 2 men backed away instantly, hands twitching near their fake holsters. The driver's door opened, slowly, deliberately, and a woman in a black tactical jacket stepped out. No badge, no insignia, just quiet authority that made the air feel heavier. "Ma'am," she said firmly, eyes fixed on my wife. "Verification code." My wife didn't hesitate. "Delta 7, shadow line." The woman nodded once. That was all it took. The fake HOA cops started to step back, realizing too late that they were in deep trouble. One of them tried to pull out his phone, probably to call whoever sent them, but before he could unlock it, 2 more agents exited the SUV, weapons holstered but visible. "Hands where I can see them," the woman ordered. The taller man stammered, "Wait, this is a misunderstanding. We were told—" "By who?" my wife snapped. "Who sent you?" He hesitated, then tried to bolt. Big mistake. One of the agents moved faster than I could blink, pinning him face down on the gravel. The other one raised his radio, murmuring, "2 suspects in custody, IDs look fake, requesting confirmation." The shorter one was shaking now. We didn't know she was—" She stopped mid-sentence when my wife stepped closer, her calm voice turning ice cold. "What did you not know? That I left that life behind, or that I still have friends who don't forget their own?" I looked at her, still trying to process what was happening. You said you worked in security consulting." She glanced back at me, almost smiling. "I do. Just a higher level of it." The agents pulled the men up, cuffing them with black zip ties that didn't look like normal police gear. The SUV's back door opened, and a man in a suit stepped out, carrying a slim tablet. He looked at my wife, nodded respectfully, then turned to me. "Sir, I'm going to need you to come with us inside. We have to secure your property." "Secure it?" I asked, confused. He showed me the screen, and what I saw made my stomach drop. Satellite footage, timestamps, and a red-marked file labeled with our address, sent from an unknown HOA server. Someone had been tracking us.
I stared at the screen, my mind racing. That's our property? Who the hell is watching us? The man in the suit sighed. "We've been trying to find out. Your wife's name triggered an old network alert. Someone's been running her file through civilian systems. HOA database was just the cover." My wife folded her arms. "So they weren't random imposters. Someone wanted to flush me out." He nodded grimly. "Exactly. And it worked." The agents moved the fake cops into the SUV, But before they could shut the door, one of them laughed. It wasn't nervous. It was smug. "You think this ends with us? You've got no idea who really owns this neighborhood." My wife leaned forward, her voice low but lethal. "Then start talking." He grinned wider. "Check the HOA president's bank records. You'll see who signs the checks." The agent beside him shoved him inside the car, slamming the door. My wife turned to me, her calm composure starting to crack. "They found us through my alias. Someone inside this HOA was paid to pull my old ID." I couldn't believe it. "You're saying this is bigger than them? Bigger than some fake cops?" She nodded slowly. "It's connected to the operation I left unfinished years ago. I thought I buried it, but apparently it wasn't deep enough." The man in the suit glanced toward the woods that lined our property. "We'll need to check your perimeter. If they sent a team once, they'll do it again." Just then, a faint buzzing echoed in the distance, like a drone. The agents froze. My wife's eyes narrowed. "Everybody inside. Now." We rushed into the house. One agent locked the doors while another scanned the airwaves on a handheld device. Multiple drones inbound. 4 of them. My wife reached under the living room shelf, pressing a hidden button I'd never seen before. A panel slid open, revealing a compact black case with a small emblem, an eagle holding a key. She flipped it open, revealing what looked like a high-tech jammer and a headset. "Guess retirement's over," she muttered. The agent in charge turned to her, almost grinning. "Welcome back, Agent Stone." My heart dropped. Agent? CIA wasn't just her past. It was her real name that wasn't even hers. And somewhere outside, the buzzing grew louder, closer, like someone was making sure she never got to explain.
The sound of the drones grew louder until it felt like the whole roof was vibrating. One of the agents shouted, "Thermal signatures, 3 incoming from the west tree line." I grabbed my wife's hand, but she was already moving toward the window, all calm and precision, like she'd rehearsed this her whole life. "Stay behind the wall," she said. "No matter what happens, don't come out." I wanted to argue, but the look in her eyes, steady, cold, familiar, told me she wasn't just fighting for herself, she was protecting both of us. The SUV outside suddenly roared to life. The agents inside the house fanned out, taking positions by the doors and windows. My wife placed the small jammer on the coffee table, pressed a button, and a faint pulse rippled through the air. The buzzing stopped instantly. One of the agents checked the monitor. Drones disabled, signal jammed. But then, silence broke again with the crunch of gravel outside. Someone was approaching. Through the window, I saw a line of dark SUVs pulling up the dirt road, their tinted windows reflecting the sunset. But this time, there were no fake badges, no cheap props. These were real, government-grade vehicles moving in formation. The lead SUV stopped, and a tall man stepped out. His presence alone made everyone lower their weapons. My wife exhaled deeply, almost relieved. "Director Hayes," she said quietly. He walked up to the porch. "We traced the data breach. It started from the HOA president's office, under the name of a shell company that used to fund Black Ridge operations." My wife froze. "That program was shut down 10 years ago." "Not for everyone," Hayes said. "Someone's been selling old intelligence. You weren't the target. They wanted your clearance codes." I couldn't believe it. So all this, these fake HOA cops, the tracking, the drones, it was all about stealing her identity? Hayes nodded, and they didn't expect her to still have active protection protocols. The agents brought the 2 fake cops out of the SUV, now pale and silent. Hayes gave one last order. "Take them to the federal holding unit. I want names before sunrise." He turned to my wife. "You've been off the grid a long time, Agent Stone. You sure you're ready for what comes next?" She glanced at me, her fingers tightening around mine. "I'm not going anywhere without him." Hayes nodded, respect in his eyes. "Then you better pack. You're back on file." As the SUVs rolled out, I looked around our quiet home, the one we thought we'd built far from her past. My wife leaned against the doorway, watching the sun dip behind the trees. I whispered, "So what happens now?"
She smiled faintly, a mix of exhaustion and defiance. Now, we find out who thought they could use a homeowners association to hunt the CIA. Behind us, the jammer beeped once before shutting down, and the house fell silent again. For the first time all day, it felt peaceful. But somewhere deep down, I knew this wasn't over. Because if the past could find her once, it could do it again. And next time, we'd be ready.